Let's execute an immediate high-gear tactical vector shift away from modern urban reclamation projects and family court metrics and slide directly onto the frozen, calculation-heavy tracking grids of professional hockey team logistics, intense neighborhood proximity dynamics, and high-stakes athletic defense arrays. We are crossing the threshold directly into the hyper-competitive, deeply possessive locker room corridors and high-visibility property zones of the legend next door. The exceptional, rapid-pulsing second deployment anchoring the chart-topping Totally Pucked series by the reigning master of addictive sports romance fiction, Jesse H. Rain. This high-velocity operation delivers a thrilling, deeply volatile exploration of weaponized athletic rivalry, public media damage control, and close-quarters domestic friction colliding at terminal velocity. Let's lay out the strategic narrative grid. If you are a fan of high-octane, forced proximity romantic comedies where a hyper-focused, protective alpha hockey superstar must navigate an absolute maze of league disciplinary reviews, media speculation traps, and intense next-door territorial lines while running an aggressive protective loop around a captivating next-door asset, where an analytical mind uses deep tactical sports profiling, physical defensive tradecraft, and absolute environmental dominance to outmaneuver league saboteurs, and where the author utilizes an incandescent, grumpy professional athlete protecting his defiant neighbor diagnostic routine to test our hero's structural survival perimeters, this book is engineered to lock you in. Rain completely dominates the sports suspense noir dynamic, capturing the heart-racing emotional momentum, intense locker room friction, and suffocating public surveillance popularized by genre vargs like Elle Kennedy, Helena Hunting, Liz Tomford, and Chloe Leese, while treating high-level professional sports logistics, media strategy manipulation, and protective domestic grids with absolute technical mastery. The narrative tracking grid zeroes in on our central protagonist axis, a masterfully calculated duet of a hardened ice hockey legend and a fiercely independent, clever neighbor. Our hero is the ultimate blueprint of athletic resilience, operating under a strict calculation-heavy routine to lock down his career standing in a high-stakes league where a single off-ice scandal can permanently delete a multi-million-dollar contract stream. His daily workspace is a highly monitored ecosystem of ice arenas, elite training centers, and high-security residential enclaves. His internal defense mechanisms are locked down tight behind a layer of absolute competitive focus, his entire analytical focus strictly consumed by monitoring training performance stats, parsing complex league politics, and shielding his private world from being entirely compromised by intrusive media lenses. The spark ignites when his active scanning perimeter registers an unexpected structural anomaly, the arrival of an alluring, defiant neighbor whose very presence breaches his established privacy guidelines and triggers a massive forced proximity tracking loop. She represents an unpredictable variable in his highly regimented zone, her lifestyle running completely counter to his rigid public relations protocols. Yet the official diagnostic metrics of his internal radar show an immediate total system overload. Standard isolation parameters are pulled entirely offline, as past personal betrayals, localized community drama, and an external media tracking surge threaten to expose her vulnerabilities and compromise his career ring. Our alpha athlete refuses to cede an inch of his territory. He initiates an aggressive, calculation-heavy protective loop, sweeping her directly under his fortified security canopy. The tactical parameters instantly explode as their forced proximity turns completely active, transforming the shared suburban boundary line into a volatile emotional pressure cooker and a workspace for profound personal growth. Our veteran survivalist duo is forced to deploy their massive intuitive tradecraft, environmental mapping skills, and raw emotional stamina to maintain a united front against both public gossip networks and internal vulnerabilities. When deceptive league executives, hostile media sharks, and calculation-heavy public relations algorithms launch aggressive countermeasures to permanently suppress their growing connection, their survival instincts engage their final deployment tracks. Every midnight strategy meeting over the fence, every silent choice to let their physical proximity breach standard boundaries behind closed doors, and every intense moment of channeling their deep mutual chemistry to withstand external criticism chips away at their reliance on original defensive rules. What follows is an exceptional, high-stakes war of perspective, tactical position, and raw human grit. We watch the professional sports world's deceptive perimeters completely unwrapped as Rain reveals that the true victory requires more than just winning a championship or fixing a media rating. It demands an absolute, uncompromising defense of the beautiful, shared sanctuary they are building together. while our central duo smooths over each other's psychological and defensive blind spots with devastating analytical force, a brutal series of personal confrontations and high-stakes emotional trials shifts the clock into its terminal phase, proving that external hazards have tracked them to their final outpost. To survive the impending locked grid trap and permanently secure their future, our resilient pair must unleash an absolute, unyielding defense of their deep, undeniable bond. It is a sports romance, contemporary romantic comedy, forced proximity drama, and high-velocity athletic suspense masterpiece that treats deep, localized logistics and intense emotional friction with elite precision. The tension here burns with a sharp, calculation-heavy intensity. We are talking about that high-frequency, one paparazzi photo shatters the entire career energy, where a sudden pause in a late-night hallway confrontation, an unexpected shift in your partner's protective physical posture during a high-stakes media event, or a heavy, possessive realization that the hockey superstar has completely mapped your deepest vulnerabilities carries massive structural weight. Rain writes with an exceptionally fresh, vivid, and beautifully blunt voice, perfectly capturing the cold, metallic hum of rink refrigeration units, the oppressive, heavy atmosphere of a packed press conference room, and the distinct, subtle scent of premium leather gear, expensive cologne, ice shavings, winter rain, and pure, unadulterated suspense. What truly elevates the second installment into elite territory is the author's unmatched ability to balance realistic professional sports choreography mechanics and genuine high-stakes public relations tradecraft alongside a breathtaking narrative pace and deep emotional hooks. Our protagonist duo doesn't rely on unbelievable, superficial Hollywood superhero action tropes. Their immense situational intelligence, strategic patience, and profound protective instincts match the complexity of the chaotic modern sports underworld they dominate step for step, making their choices to risk everything feel profoundly authentic and deeply gripping. The pacing moves with calculated momentum, tracking intense conversational standoffs and breathtaking personal breakthroughs before ratcheting up to an absolute jaw-dropping conclusion that delivers total, hard-earned advancement to their horizon. The Legend Next Door is the definitive, pro-level upgrade your high-stakes contemporary romance and sports fiction library demands right now. It is elegant, immensely fast-paced, and utterly unputdownable. It proves that when your entire sanctuary is targeted by a cold, calculating institutional monster, the most revolutionary play you can execute is to lock your perimeters, embrace your deepest emotional connections, and fight like hell alongside your partner to rewrite the data. So, secure your personal reading sanctuary, review your emotional defensive perimeters, open your Kindle, and prepare to track Totally Pucked.